Hey guys! Today I am going to be sharing my pregnancy essentials. These are the things that got me through the good times, the rough times, the super uncomfortable times, and pretty much just everything in between. I didn't really have any close relationships growing up with anyone that was pregnant, so I never really had that experience of seeing a pregnancy firsthand and having some knowledge as to what goes into a pregnancy. I was honestly so clueless going into mine. And on top of that, we kept our pregnancy secret for quite a while. Number one, because we wanted to get past the safe point, to start telling everybody. But then we kept it a secret an additional month on top of that because we wanted to surprise our families the day before our wedding with my pregnancy. So pretty much my entire first trimester, I honestly felt really alone during that time and kind of scared because I couldn't really tell anyone because we were keeping it a secret, and I just didn't know where to start with things to get. So essentially I just wanted to make the video that I wish I would have had early on in my pregnancy, especially if you are in the same boat as me where you kind of don't know where to start with this whole pregnancy thing. I've got your back. I'm here for you. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Really quickly before I jump into everything, the way I'm formatting this video is by trimester. So it's not just going to be like one category of clothes or books. I just thought that format might be easier for you depending on which trimester you're in. So that's the way I'm going to format the video. So starting off with first trimester, the first thing I recommend you get is a really good pregnancy book. This one was my favorite. I got a few different kinds, but by far I feel like this one was the best. It's the What to Expect When You're Expecting. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this. I can't remember some of the others we purchased, but I remember one of them was the Mayo Clinic Guide to Childbirth, something like that. And to be honest, I did not like that one. I felt like it was way too general. This one is a lot more thorough and just much more of like a one-stop shop, if you will, when it comes to pregnancy information, what you should be eating, what you should be avoiding, exercises, every stage of your pregnancy. It's got it all in here. So I would say if you had to pick one, this is the one I'd recommend getting. Another thing I downloaded right away was the Bump app, which I loved. I downloaded a bunch of different pregnancy apps, but to me that was my absolute favorite. I love that it gives you a breakdown of your baby's growth every week. It also kind of reassures you a little bit with how your body's changing and kind of guides you through some upcoming changes you're going to start seeing. There's a lot of great articles in there, and yeah, I just really love that one. So if I had to recommend two resources to start with, it would definitely be this book and the Bump app. One of the first things I purchased during my first trimester were maternity pants. Sorry, these ones are super linty, but I wore these to death. I think I got like 2 or 3 pairs of them. These are by the brand Ingrid and Isabel from Target, which if you're pregnant and you shop at Target, it's a brand you're gonna get to know very well. But yeah, they have a bunch of different ones on their site, but to me, these are the ones that I like the most, and I did try out quite a few. These are the over the belly maternity pants, but the top part has kind of like a swimsuit material almost, but it's very stretchy and lightweight and breathable. These are also really nice and opaque, so my underwear didn't show through them. But yeah, I really liked the over the belly maternity pants much more than the under the belly ones, just because I feel like these were just a lot more comfortable overall. They supported my belly a lot better. And because the fabric is so nice and thin, I just felt like it looked better underneath clothing. But yeah, I was all about that over the belly maternity pant life throughout my pregnancy. They were definitely my favorite styles. Another pair of pants that I really liked were these ones from Lululemon. I got a few different pairs just because I sized up. They're really good because they're just extra stretchy over the belly area, and I was actually able to wear them all up until I think like the final 1 or 2 months of my pregnancy, which I think is pretty good. And now that it's postpartum, I'm able to still wear them. I think I got like a size 8 and a size 10, and they were perfect. So if you want something a little bit more nicer quality and you don't want to give up your Lululemons, there is a line that is more like bump friendly. Another thing I would recommend stocking up on is night shirts or nighttime tees. Once I hit like the end of my second trimester, I was not into maternity pajama pants. I just felt like they were way too constricting, and my tummy, as it was starting to stretch, was getting a lot more sensitive. So I didn't really like anything that hit that area. Victoria's Secret has a lot of cute ones, Target, Walmart, I mean, pretty much anywhere you can find them, just size up, of course. And I just feel like they're so much easier to wear as your belly starts to get bigger. And I'm not gonna lie, there were days where I just straight up lived like my everyday life in night shirts, because there did come a point where just nothing was fitting me anymore. And I just didn't want anything like constricting on that area. I just wanted to be loose and free. So yeah, nighttime shirts or nighttime tees will be your best friend. Okay, now I wanna get into the territory of nausea, which was a big one for me. I was lucky enough to not be throwing up every day, but my nausea just was like, I felt like I was just out of my body. Like I was somewhere in outer space floating around. But luckily I did find things that did help me get through it. And number one being this morning sickness tea by the brand Pink Stork. This was a brand I shopped from a lot. And this is their ginger orange organic caffeine-free tea. Now I can't say that this is like the best tasting or best smelling tea for me personally, but it did help calm my nausea down a lot. I would have this, I want to say 2 or 3 times a day, and within about 10 minutes or so, I would notice my nausea subside a little bit. So these were really good. Also, what helped me a lot were candies, like any sour candy, things that were crunchy, really cold. But one candy I liked a lot were these mango ginger morning sickness sweets, again by the brand Pink Stork. And these were pretty good. These have vitamin B6 in there, which is supposed to help with your nausea. Again, not my favorite tasting candy in the world. Like I wouldn't eat these on the regular, but they did help with my nausea. I know some people recommend peppermint and gum. To me, that just did not do anything for me. It was not nearly strong enough to help with my nausea, but these guys, let me tell you, these were my babies. These are the Preggy Drops. They are natural, drug-free, and doctor recommended. These were actually gifted to me from one of my husband's coworkers who was also pregnant at the same time as me. And these are just assorted sour candies. They come in a bunch of different flavors. They aren't anything, you know, like unbearably sour, but I feel like the level of sourness of this was perfect because it was enough to actually get my mind off of the nausea. A lot of times I would just go for a walk. I would take a few Preggy Drops with me, get some fresh air, and it was a nice little like mini vacation away from my nausea. There really wasn't anywhere in my life where I didn't have a few of these lying around somewhere because I just love them that much. And yeah, I really recommend these guys a lot. Another thing that helped with my nausea were these C-bands. So these are little wristbands that you put obviously onto your wrist, but they have a little rubber ball that hits a pressure point on your wrist that's supposed to help with nausea. A lot of times you see people that are gonna go on cruises or that get like seasick and things like that wearing these, and that's exactly what I would wear it for. I would wear it either if I was going for a walk or if I was getting in a car. Anytime I had to sit in a car, I would always feel like I was about to throw up. With this, I didn't have that problem as much. So yeah, these ones were really good to have on hand as well. I also really like this spray by Pink Stork. It's the magnesium body spray, and this is supposed to help with morning sickness, aches and pains, poor sleep, and more. To be honest, I felt like it helped a little bit more with the aches and pains category than it did with the nausea. It wasn't like a quick fix or anything like that, but I loved using this at nighttime when I was having a hard time going to sleep because my nausea would just be so intense. I would spray this on my legs and arms, and I feel like it really did help just lessen it over time and help me get a better night's rest. So this one was really good too. Just to add a few quick additional tips on top of the products I just mentioned. Number one, I would say make sure you're drinking a lot of water, which I know you hear so much throughout your pregnancy. You're probably so tired of hearing that, but it's so true. More water will help with your nausea. And on top of my nausea, a lot of times I was getting headaches. And for a long time, I did not know that they were actually dehydration headaches. So yeah, when in doubt, drink some water. A lot of times what I would do to help myself drink more water is add a little bit of Gatorade. I mean, like barely any. I'm talking like maybe a few tablespoons, and then fill the rest with water. And that would help flavor my water and allow me to drink more throughout the day. Another thing I would recommend is going on walks, which I know probably feels like the very last thing you want to do when you're sick, but just getting fresh air in general, getting some exercise in your body, even if it's just walking around your backyard. And then the last thing I would recommend is to try to stay away from greasy foods. I remember there being times where I'd feel like, oh, I'm having a good day today. I don't feel sick. I don't have any nausea. I'm gonna go get some In-N-Out. I'm gonna go get some fries. and boy, did I pay for it the next day. Every time I ate greasy food, my nausea would be so much worse the following day. So even if you feel like it doesn't smell bad to you, you don't feel sick, just, know that the next day it may make you even more sick. So yeah, just do the right thing, eat healthy. Your body will thank you for it later. This next one, it was actually a favorite for all trimesters, but I want to mention it now because I did start getting pretty bad heartburn early on in my pregnancy, and I was taking Tums, but unfortunately a lot of antacids on the market are not recommended to pregnant women, so it would make it really difficult to find something to calm the fire that was happening in my entire body. Like nothing could put that out. Oh my gosh, almond milk is like an instant fix, at least it was for me. When it comes to heartburn, I would have a glass of this before I go to bed at night. Anytime I would feel the devil rise in my chest and I needed something to relieve it, this would be like my number one go-to, and it was like just instant gratification. Another thing I started having earlier on was lower back pain or just body aches in general, and for that I really loved this wrap, and I'm sure you guys have seen this before. I don't know the exact name of it, I will link it down below, but it's like this weighted wrap. It's got like sand or beans in here, I don't know what's going on, but you just stick it in the microwave for a few minutes, heat it up, and I would put this on my lower back, especially if I'd have to be sitting up and working at my computer, and it really did help with the lower back pain a lot. Plus this is scented. It has a really nice like calming aromatherapy scent to it, which we all know is really good during pregnancy because we're supposed to be reducing our stress. So yeah, this helps not only take away some of those body aches, but just kind of have a calming effect overall, which I loved about this. Okay, now getting into like skincare or like belly lotions and potions that really work for me. Using these products, I was lucky enough to not get any stretch marks on my belly. And I know a lot of people say, oh, well, that's hereditary, it has nothing to do with what you use, but I don't really agree with that, only because I actually did get stretch marks in areas where I did not use these products, mainly like on my lower side. It's not a lot, but I did get them like kind of in my lower hip area. So that's one major tip I have, is to put whatever you end up purchasing everywhere. Like even in areas where you think you don't need it, just apply extra. Put it on your thighs, your butt, your boobs. I even got a stretch mark on my calf. Like what? How was I supposed to know that was gonna happen? So yeah, definitely lather up because you may get stretch marks in areas you're not expecting to. And this first one is the Radha Rose Hip Oil. I actually saw this as a really recommended one across YouTube, which is why I bought it. And this was a really good oil. It's a very nice, thick, luxurious oil. A little bit goes a very long way with this. And rosehip is supposed to be very well known for helping with stretch marks. I also love the fact that it's an oil because when my tummy was starting to really get bigger, my skin would feel really tight and I could really feel like the stretching going on. And I feel like an oil just really helped my body feel more elastic, if you will, and just not as rough as it was kind of stretching out. It just made it a little bit more comfortable. So yeah, I really loved that stuff. Next, I use the Burts Bees Momma Bee Belly Butter with vitamin E. This one was really nice. It's a very thick, buttery cream. And what I liked about this is that it absorbed into the body a little bit faster. So if I was getting ready in the morning and I had to run out or do something and I wanted something to put on really quickly that wasn't going to get all over my clothes, this one was really good. It's super thick. I just love this. It's amazing. I have to save the best for last, which is this guy. So this one was actually sent to me by my friend Katie. Shout out to her if she's watching this. But she said this was like her tried and true product throughout her pregnancy, and she did not get any stretch marks at all. And it is the Mama Mio the Tummy Rub Butter, and it looks like this. It is the thickest cream I have ever felt. I'm not gonna lie, the scent is not my favorite. It's like very potent, but I mean, if it's gonna help with stretch marks, who really cares, right? It's not super fast absorbing. It just sort of feels like it's marinating your skin in goodness. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest, but it's a very like thick coating of moisture on the tummy. And yeah, it's just very heavy duty. And I think if there was one that I had to choose to repurchase, if I were to get pregnant again, it would definitely be this guy. Another thing I want to talk about that I had a lot throughout my pregnancy was super dry lips. I swear my lips were like the damn desert, okay? Like nothing could cure them until I started using this guy. This is the Water Blending Lip Mask by Noonie. And this is pretty much like a Vaseline, but a lot more dense and just heavy duty on the lips. But this was the only thing that actually kept my lips hydrated for a long period of time. Okay, now I want to get into second trimester. I only have a couple favorites for my second trimester because honestly, I love my second trimester. It was by far the easiest, but there were a couple of things that I did start purchasing around that time. And number one was a pregnancy pillow, which let me tell you was life-changing. I did not know how poor of sleep I was getting until I got a pregnancy pillow in my life. It was like the first time I had fully slept through the night, and it was amazing. I got mine from Amazon. I will go ahead and link it down below. It's basically just a huge like U-shaped pillow. But another thing I'd recommend too that I actually did not get and I really regret not purchasing is a wedge pillow, which is a little bit of like a firmer pillow that you can put under your tummy. As my stomach was getting bigger and heavier, the pregnancy pillow after a while just could not support my tummy anymore. I would recommend getting a wedge pillow in addition to the pregnancy pillow, just because once I think you hit the third trimester and things start getting a little bit heavier, it's so much easier to use that rather than like try to find a blanket or, you know, it just makes life easier. I also really loved these compression socks, which I got during my second trimester because leg cramps were a big one for me. I feel like I would wake up from leg cramps maybe 1 to 2 times a night until I started using these guys. I wouldn't wear them to bed, but I would wear them throughout the day and I would not get any leg cramps at night, which was awesome. So I do recommend getting a good pair of compression socks. They're also great if you have to fly during your pregnancy. I don't know if anyone's really flying right now with the pandemic, but if for some reason you have to, these are really good to have on hand. I also really loved these maternity bras. I still wear these now. They look like this, and this one, I'm sorry, is super linty because it's straight from the laundry, but they come in a 2-pack. They're very comfortable, they're lightweight, they're stretchy, they don't have any kind of lining or padding for that matter, so they're not like the best going outside the house bra, but for around the house, for day-to-day life, these were so comfortable because they do have some support in them. And I remember even going to bed at night, I needed some kind of support because my boobs were just getting so heavy. And these were perfect because they're not too tight, but yeah, they are super comfortable and really nice and stretchy, and I really, really loved these. Okay, now I want to get into third trimester favorites, and I want to hop back into the book category. I just going to quickly mention these. These are 2 books that I picked up during my third trimester, which I love. This one is called Mindful Birthing, Training the Mind, Body, and Heart for Childbirth and Beyond. This was a really good book on different strategies in terms of like coping with pain or any kind of fear you have about giving childbirth. This just had a ton of great motivation, information, and yeah, just sort of strategizing and mentally preparing for childbirth. So I really love that one. And then I also love the Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. This is a really popular book. It has a ton of different stories from other women and their childbirth experiences. It talks about different things that are going to happen at the hospital, different options you have. And yeah, it just has a lot of great stories and information in there. There were 2 other resources that really helped me a lot, especially around my third trimester. And one was a YouTube channel that is led by a doula. I cannot think of the name of the channel to save my life. I don't know why, but I'll put it here on the screen. Of course, I will also link it down below. But her videos were amazing. Like, she has videos on every topic you can think of when it comes to pregnancy, childbirth. So I really loved her videos. But in addition to that, I also loved mommy meditation videos because, as we all know, it is important to reduce your stress during your pregnancy. And I feel like my third trimester is when I started to get the most fear and just anxiety overall, especially because I gave birth during a pandemic. There were a lot of unknowns at the time, and I listened to a lot of mommy meditation videos. I will link my favorite one down below, and I would play this before I would go to sleep at night, sometimes if I was taking a shower, but whenever I got a little bit of me time to relax, I would play this, and it would really just help calm me down and make me excited about childbirth rather than fear it. So I feel like that's a really big one during your pregnancy. So again, I will link both of those down below. During my third trimester, I had to really start buying more maternity clothes. I was able to get away with like my regular tops and sweaters for my first and second trimester. And one of the things I actually really liked, it's not a maternity top, but it's these tops by The Gap. They come in so many different colors. They're like this super thin, stretchy, lightweight thermals, I guess you could say, but I bought them in literally every single color. And those were really good because I could wear them after my pregnancy, but also they were stretchy enough to go over my belly. And I was able to wear them, I want to say up until maybe the last month or so of my pregnancy. So if you're looking for tops that you can wear after you're pregnant, these ones are really good. They're just so comfortable, really stretchy. So I loved those. I also really loved shopping at Old Navy. I feel like they had probably the most budget-friendly options for maternity clothes because I wasn't trying to buy like a whole brand new expensive wardrobe. I wanted things that were gonna look nice but also be super affordable, so that was a good option. If you're looking for something a little bit more stylish and trendy, I would also recommend Vici. They do have, I believe, like a bump friendly section on their website where they have like clothing that is very flattering if you have a bump. So I recommend Vici. Also ASOS has an adorable maternity section. Okay guys, I have 2 more third trimester favorites and then I'm done. So I want to mention these shoes. And yes, they are uglier than sin. They are these little slip-on sneakers that I got from Walmart. I think they were like under $15, so really affordable. And they are very comfortable. They have kind of like a memory foam sole to them. I know that they're very dirty, I'm sorry, but I wore these a lot. Once I started getting really big, it was really hard for me to bend down. I couldn't tie my shoes. It was hard to even put on my underwear. And so having these little slip-on sneakers really helped a lot. I wore them to the hospital. I wore them postpartum while I was healing. So yeah, slip-on sneakers for the win. And then also was this belly band that helped a lot with my lower back pain because as my tummy got a lot bigger and heavier when I would go for walks, it would hurt a lot. And it's so important to get exercise while you're pregnant. So I would wrap this around my tummy. It would support my belly and just really help alleviate a lot of my back pain. So yeah, I really liked this guy. Okay guys, so that is it for my pregnancy favorites. I know it was a lot, but I really do hope that this is helpful to a lot of you. And I do just want to give some extra special love to all of my fellow mommies out there that are pregnant right now, especially during this pandemic. I know that it's really easy to get caught up in the stress and chaos with everything that's going on. You're already probably stressed out because of the pregnancy and childbirth, and then to have all this going on top of that, I know is not all that easy. Just know that everything happens for a reason, and it just makes for that much more of an interesting story to tell your baby when they get older of how they came into the world. All that matters at the end of the day is your baby, and just know this is the most beautiful and special time of your life. And I don't want to get emotional, but that's all that really matters at the end of the day, you know? So that's it guys. I love you so much and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.